So I have good news for you. I have bad news for you. So the good news is that many of us in this audience will live to 100. Some of you may live to 120. And you're going to be healthy and alert for much of that time. The bad news is humankind has never been here before. We're entering a new age of aging without a map or a guide. So how did we get here? There's two milestones. Not long ago in 1940, our life expectancy for men was 60 and 65 for women. Our seniors were the biggest group living in poverty. 1/3 of Americans lived on farms or farm towns. Big families were the norm. Most work was hard manual labor. So by the time workers reached their 60s, they were tired. They needed to retire. That meant living at home with their families. January the 1st, 1940, Social Security checks began arriving in the mail for a few people. And another important first, antibiotics were beginning to be used for the first time. Okay, let's jump 20 years forward to 1960. Lifespan has now improved from 60 years for men to 65 years. And for women, it went from 65 to 73. Now, those are huge jumps in a short period of time. Another big event occurred at this time, an event so big it made the cover of Time magazine. That big event, it's here in Arizona. January the 1st, 1960, Del Webb opened up Sun City. You know, it's the world's largest planned retirement community. 100,000 people show up for the grand opening. Had to be something more to do in Phoenix than that. But in 1960, all is well. So we have Social Security, we have pensions, a little savings, we're living longer, and thanks to Sun City, we have a perfect retirement dream, the new dream. So the new age of aging has begun, the new age of aging again. So the idea of retirement becomes the new social status symbol. And it becomes part of our American conversation for the first time. Being able to retire means you're successful. Well, so how has this turned out? Well, seniors are now the biggest group. The seniors as a group have the greatest wealth. Life expectancy is now 79 for men, 81 for women. And instead of just making it to retirement and dying like previous generations, today a couple, age 65, who retire will likely have one of them alive at age 90. So that's 25 years in this bliss called retirement. And here's what was sold to people about retirement. You know, this is the time for never-ending rounds of golf. Life's a big pool party. This is the time to buy your Lazy Boy recliner, grab your remote, a 6-pack of bad beer, and watch Fox TV. Now, I'm sorry, but ranting and raving about the liberals on CNN is not a cardiovascular exercise. This is the time to dye your hair blue, drive your big car to Arizona, and in the winter, you can cruise in the left-hand lane 15 miles slower than the flow of traffic because God knows you're not in a hurry. This is the time to spend with those adorable grandchildren. That is until they turn into teenagers and they begin to avoid you, or is it the other way around? And this is the time to socialize with your PIP friends. You know, PIP, previously important people. So you search out other PIPs, and you remind each other that once upon a time you were important. Once upon a time you made a difference. And those high rates of alcoholism and suicide among retirees, that's not part of the sales presentation. So maybe this dream of retirement is not all that it was cracked up to be. So let me take a moment to talk to my tribe. That's the baby boomers, okay? Gen Xers, millennials, Gen Y, Watch the boomers closely. We're either going to be shining examples of this thing called retirement or terrible warnings to you, okay? Now, boomers, you're probably not tired. You probably don't need to retire. So how do we live meaningful life in the decades ahead? Well, let's take on a little recreation. Let's ignite some passion for life. Now, everyone, let me remind you of a few facts. Many of us will live to be healthy and vital to 100. And we live in an age of innovation, and that's really focusing right now on health and longevity. Medical breakthroughs are becoming fairly commonplace. So what does a great future look like? Well, first, you have a great present. You know, it's not about reaching the end. It's creating a great present that you live into. You can plan for the future, but you live in the now. Here's the most important top factor that new research tells us that goes into living a long and healthy life. This is more important than good medical care. It's more important than being fit. It's belonging to a community. So you live in a way that you know your people and you're known by your people. So who is your community? Your tribe. Is there anything new, different, or exciting going on in your tribe lately? Do you make a contribution to your community? Do you allow others to contribute to you? You know, being in a community is how you stay alive and well. Science tells us that loneliness and boredom can kill you. So here are a few things to stay alive and vital. Boomers, cultivate new and younger friends. Find people who have different views and experiences than you. Don't believe everything that you think. Millennials, Gen X, Gen Y, cultivate some older people as friends. You know, many cultures believe that their elders have wisdom. Give us a chance, we might surprise you. Cultivate doing meaningful work, contribute. You know, Warren Buffett, 87, is a master of making money. Bill Gates, 62, his bridge partner, is a master of giving money away. Now, that's a great partnership between two different generations. Or let's consider some of the Academy Award winners from a few weeks ago. James Ivory, 88, Best Screenplay, Call Me by My Name. John Williams, age 87, again, another soundtrack award for The Last Jedi. Christopher Plummer, age 88, Best Supporting Actor for All of the Money in the World. You may remember his first big role. Over 50 years ago, some of us saw this, 1965, he starred in The Sound of Music. This was Colonel Von Trapp, okay? He's been around for a while doing this. I'm not a billionaire, I'm not an aging Hollywood actor, yet I have friends and clients in my community who inspire me. For example, Mission of Mercy, one of our great local not-for-profit organizations, provides free health care for thousands each year using retired volunteer doctors and nurses. And these volunteers tell me that the days that they're at Mission of Mercy are the best days of the week. And my friend Nathan is a wonderful architect in his mid-70s, having designed buildings all over the world. He's a great mentor. But I'm particularly impressed that Nathan and his partner Ed are raising Nathan's 13-year-old grandson with autism. Okay? So look around, ask around. There are people who are recreating themselves everywhere. There are people like you, and you, and you. There are people like me. If we're going to be on this planet for a while, why not make a difference? So here's my takeaway quote. Listen up. This is from one of my favorite actors. Kermit the Frog, age 63, may have said, "When you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot." Stay green, everyone. Thank you.